Hi guys, and welcome to my channel once again at Lola's Superstar World. Right about now we are going to speak about my sister Regina Daniels on More My People Within. What is going on? Right about now she is the lady of Nigeria. She is like crown queen of Nigeria. Everybody's talking about Regina. And yes, I have to get into it. We have to get into this situation shit of polygamy where she is the sixth wife. Maybe she could be coming out of that situation and be solo, but we need to break this down and get to the nitty-gritty. And also on top of that, we need to know what is the biblical analysis of this situation. Is she married? Is this a married? Is this divorce? Is this polygamy? What is it? Just because it is common in Nigeria and various different parts of the world to have more than one wife and to say this is my fifth, sixth, seventh. I mean, if you have money, it's just one of these things that happen. But is it right? Is it what is ordained? Is it what should have been done? Yes, so many people talk about Father Abraham. He had many wives. He had many children. They'll talk about Jacob, who formed the 12 nations of Israel, who we talk about all the time. He had, 12 sons and many daughters with at least 4 women. But does that mean in 2025 that this is right, this is biblical, and this is the way things should be going on in Nigeria to create a successful and a forthcoming nation that you can thrive upon? More my people waiting, we shall talk more. Watch this space, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Regina Daniels has been married to her husband, Senator Ned Edol. She's been married to him since she was 18 years old. They've been married for 5 years or coming up to 5 years, and they have at least 2 children. When Regina Daniels married her husband, he already had 5 other wives, previous and current wives, and he had 17 kids. Regina Daniels met Senator Ned, when she was about 17 plus. She met him through her mother. She was already an aspiring Nollywood Nigerian actress. She's been acting from a young age. Her career was on the rise. We know in Nigeria, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of corruption. So even as an actress, where in the Western world where she would have been acting and making movies, she would have been almost a millionaire, if not going into billions. But in Nigeria, in the Nollywood scene, she was still struggling. Not saying it's an excuse, but her mum introduced her to Ned, who at the time was 64 years old with 5 wives and 17 kids. And that's when their relationship formed. How does this work? A 17-year-old girl who's a Nollywood actress, meeting, dating, courting a 64-year-old grandpapa who is old enough to date her own mother and already has 17 kids. What kind of courtship is this? Anyway, my people, I'm just giving you a bit of a foundation. I'm sure most of you already know the story. And for those that don't or more, please listen. This is the foundation of how Regina, a very young, beautiful, aspiring actress who had a whole life ahead of her whole destiny ahead of her, a whole destiny and gifts imported into her through God, where she was supposed to, in her life, come closer to God, pray, fast, build a relationship with God, and discover how God wants her to utilize her gifts on this earth to the glory of God in heaven. But with all of that, her mum instead introduced her to a grandpapa who had 5 wives and 17 wives and thought it would be a perfect idea for her to formulate a courtship. So this is how they got together. When they got together, Ned was already a polygamist. He was already a serial polygamist. Yeah. Most of his wives, the only wives that we know to date currently at the moment is his 5th wife, his 4th wife, his Moroccan bride, who has given him 4 children and is a current rival to Regina Daniels. And then our sister Regina, the actress. That's who he publicly knows. We know he had a first wife. She was the first wife that he built his career with. Ned was a lawyer in London and his wife is a lawyer as well. So people know about his first wife. But at the moment, it's his 4th wife, the Moroccan bride, and his 5th wife and his 6th wife, Regina, that everybody knows. Or more, they're doing rival, social media rival. But right about now, our sister, Regina Daniels, the actress, is in a polygamous marriage. She's been in this polygamous marriage for the last 5 years of her life. She's only 24, if not 25 at the moment, and she's been in this polygamous marriage. Right about now, there's a bit of a tumble within the marriage. Apparently, allegedly, like Tubaba has told us, allegedly, don't be alleging unless you know. Right about now, there's another woman, allegedly, who is currently pregnant, another actress, and there's word on the street that she may be the new bride of Ned Udoko. Now he wants bride number 7, and Regina and her mama is not having it. What Tim no, they are not having it, they are not giving it. She came in as wife number 6, and she's saying this is the last bus stop, and this is what we have to speak about today, because right about now their public polygamous relationship is for the courts of Nigeria, the social analyse, to talk, to dissect, and to discover what is going on. And the question is this right? Is this biblical? Is this acceptable in our society? Ned is a senator of our country, and look at what he's parading around: polygamy. 1 wife is not enough, 2 wives is not enough. You're on your 6th wife. You are in your 70s, you're on your 6th wife. You have 21 kids, and you still want wife number 7, who currently at the moment is pregnant if she's not already given birth. When is it enough? When is it enough? We know what happened to King Solomon, who had 1,000 women. What does a man do with 300 wives and 700 concubines, if not even more? 1,000 wives for one man. Just because you have money, is it right? And the reason why I'm bringing up King Solomon into this story is because with King Solomon, yes, he was a wise man. Yes, he started off having an amazing career with God, fellowshipping with God, asking for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding instead of asking for money, and instead of requiring the blood of his enemies. He asked for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that he can rule his people. And God was so impressed and so moved by his request. He gave him double. He gave him everything. He gave him peace. During his reign, he gave him wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and money, and there was peace in his land. You know, King David, famous King David, was his father. Throughout King David, there was bloodshed, there was wars. King David had to fight for everything that he had, and blessed his son, King Solomon, lived in peace. And he had enough time, he had so much peace, he had enough time to have 1,000 women in his lifetime. But how did it end for our King Solomon? How did it end? His love for women, his adultry. He made women to be like a semi-idol to him, a semi-idol to him, to the point where his many wives turned his heart away from God. And in his old age, he was allowing his wives in the land to build altars and idols to Baal, to Vestra, to all these different gods which did not please God, and his ending was not great. Okay, so women can be an idol. Men can idolize women, and clearly they're not just idolizing one, they're idolizing the concept of a woman. It can become an idol. Lust never has no end. You're saying you're a polygamous person, but you've got 6 wives. Why do you need the 7th wife? So it goes to show there is a deep-rooted lust within you that has no limitation, and it will go on and on and on. And we've seen it with King Solomon with his 1,000 wives. But yes, let's go back to Ned Udoko and his wife Regina, and let's dissect this thing of polygamy that is going on, that is roaming the streets of Nigeria. And is it right? The Bible said a husband should be a husband of 1 wife, and a woman should be a wife of 1 man. Number 1, the Bible also said you should not commit fornication. All fornicators will burn in the lake. The Bible also said thou shalt not commit adultery. It's also written in the Bible, if a husband and their wife divorces, the only reason that God allows divorce between a husband and a wife, if there has been infidelity. That is a ground for divorce if you choose to go through that route. There is an option of forgiveness. There is an option of trying to work things out. But biblically, if there has been adultery, that is a ground for divorce biblically. But then once you divorce, what has the Bible also said? Once you have divorced, if your husband or your wife is still alive, any relationship outside of that is adultery. Let me say that again. Any relationship outside, if you are a divorced man or a divorced woman, if your partner is still breathing on this earth, if you go into another entanglement, any kind of romanticization that takes on a sexual grounds, that is adultry. So the Bible doesn't approve of this. This polygamy is not approved, is not ordained by God, it's not covered by the holy sacrament of marriage that God created for a husband and a woman. It's not of God. It's lust, it's adultery. And the Bible said, "I shall not commit adultery." So let's go back to this relationship again. The question is Regina even married? Or has she been in an adulterous relationship with a man that she calls her husband? Or with a grandpa that she calls her husband? Because according to the Bible, if Senator Ned's, if his first wife is still alive, and I believe she is still alive, that's his only wife. Then all the other fifth wife that came after him, they're not his wife. Biblically, in the realm of the spirit, they're not his wife. He's an adulterer. He's a serial adulterer that is parading around with women that are not his wife. He's calling them his wife. He's claiming to the world that he's a polygamist, but they're not his wife. He's a man who's committing adultery, and he's getting the community of Nigeria to think it's acceptable because he states that he's a polygamist. No, what you are doing is not of God. It is ungodly. It's not scripturally sound, and it's not approved by the realms of the spirit. It is not. So basically, right about now, is this a marriage or is this adultery? Right about now, we're in the situation, like I said earlier, my people. There's potentially wife number 7 on the horizon. There's potentially baby number 22 on the horizon. Senator Ned, he is denying that he's fathered this child, but the word on the street is that he is. And the word of the street is this actress Chike, she's been there before even Regina. Regina's been married to him for 5 years. She's been there in the wings as a side chick all this time. And now she wants her spot. Now she wants to experience some of the enjoyment that our sister Regina has been enjoying. Potential wife number 7 wants her own slice of the pie. She wants her recognition as well. And she wants to be claimed in this realm of polygamy, which is not of God, which is adultery on many levels, on which they are forcing upon the public of Nigeria to accept. There's so much things going on in Nigeria at the moment. There's so much poverty, there's so much corruption, there's so much ungodly acts. There are people that are being sacrificed, there are people that are being, traff. You know that word. There's so much harvesting of orcs. There's so much things going on in the life, which is all underlined as a result of poverty. Because of poverty, so much is going on in the land. People are even saying because of poverty, because of the lack of money within the Nollywood industry, that's what pushed Regina's mum to, sell, allegedly. To encourage her to marry the senator, allegedly. But this is the word on the streets. The word on the streets and what people are saying. And so many Nigerians are angry. They say this young girl, Regina, at a young age, she was groomed. She was groomed with the permission of her parents. She was groomed and sold off to a grandpapa for money and security. And people are angry at her mother right now. They are angry at her and she's been dragged all over social media. A lot of this comes down to a lack of faith. Comes down to a lack of faith in God. We are serving a God who is almighty, who is all-knowing, who is all-doing. He parted the Red Sea. But even though we're living in Nigeria, I'm a Nigerian living in the UK, but even as a Nigerian, we're known, we have a form of godliness. We know God, we have a relationship with God. We go to Sunday school. But it seems even with all of that knowledge, when it comes to certain aspects in life, it's like we can't comprehend or connect that the same God who parted the Red Sea is the same God that can do anything in our life. And I get it. There's so much poverty in Nigeria to the point where it's seen, it's lived, it's breathed on a daily basis, different to what we experience in the UK. But yeah, it's no different. We do have a living crisis here, but there is a difference. I get it. But with faith, with serving God, with knowing that your God can put you through, there was no reason why this unionship with a very young girl who had her whole life and her future and her destiny assigned in her, ahead of her. She was already working as an actress in Nollywood. There's no reason why this unionship, this yoked unionship with a man who has 5 wives, 17 children, is a known polygamist, and there's the high potential that he will go on to marry and father further children. Why would you put your child, knowingly, why would you put your child in such a yoke at such a young age if you have faith in God? You know, and it goes to show when you do not live by the principles of God, that these disasters happen. And because of this, Nigerians are outraged globally. They are outraged. They're outraged about this polygamous. There's so much things going on. The streets of Niger is divided. The streets of Niger is scattered. The social media in-laws, Nigerian social media in-laws that are forced to, to eat this information, their minds are blown away. But the atrocities that are going on in our life and being paraded to us as normality. And it is not normality because it is ungodly. It is not just, especially when we subscribe to worship God and to live in a religious nation. It's not a God. My people, we will hear more. We will talk more about this. Let me know your thoughts. This polygamy, is it right? Does it come in line with the scriptures? Especially when the scripture says you shall not commit adultery. Especially when the scripture says you should be a husband of one wife and a wife of one husband. What is this? 6 wives with a potential 7th wife? The Nigerians that are screaming and shouting about this, continue to make your noise, because we have to do so to the glory of God, so that this evil cannot rise and manifest in the line, in the land, and think that it is right. Rebuke it and say it loud, my people. Thank you once again of listening to my channel. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and we shall discuss more. And for now, bye.